Hi guys! So I thought it might be fun to try a new type of video on the channel, something that you can look forward to every week, something that if you're mechanically inclined or trying to learn how to work on your bike, combining that with the visual teardown videos that I've got on the channel, actually going through things with you like this might encourage you to get your hands dirty, and it might actually allow you to learn a little bit more in a visual way rather than having to worry about reading things that don't make any sense. So today I thought I would continue to cover a topic that is still coming up. The biggest question that I'm getting is, how do I do this on the carburetors? How do I do that on the carburetors? How do I check this on the carburetors? How do I adjust this? How do I know if a carburetor's gone bad? How do I know if a carburetor needs cleaning? The best way to explain the importance of a carburetor is to give you a scenario. And the scenario starts with some guy online who is selling their old bike. They've ridden it for years and it's been in storage for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and they've realized that they've probably upset the missus long enough for keeping it for as long as they did. Maybe they're not riding anymore. Maybe it's time to let go of it. But before he puts it up online, he goes out and tries to run it. And he realizes that the bike won't start. Now, he puts the bike up for sale online at quite a reasonable, if not low price, with the words non-runner. When I see the words non-runner on any bike listing, whether it be a 125cc or a 2500cc, I get really excited. And the reason I get excited is because if the non-runner meets the criteria of how it's been stored for a long time, it used to run, but for some reason they just can't get it to start, there's a very strong chance that I'm going to be able to fix that bike. So let's say you go and see this bike, you contact the gentleman who's selling it and you go and view it. And he shows you, he pushes the start button and maybe there's nothing, maybe it's dead. Chances are the battery's dead. 9 times out of 10. So take a voltmeter with you. If you don't know what a voltmeter looks like, this is a voltmeter. Now, this is a very, very simple and affordable device that anyone can pick up for sort of like $10 to $15, pounds, wherever you are, at a local garage. And what you want to do is if it's got the battery in it, you want to set this to the lowest possible setting. So for example, that's at 20 volts, okay? You don't want to go any lower than that on this particular model because then we'll only be looking for 2 volts. It won't pick it up. Then you take the positive and negatives and you place the negative to the negative on the battery and the positive to the positive on the battery. And you check the reading. All of these bikes require a minimum of 12 volts to run properly and to start properly. So anything below 11 volts, battery's dead. And I put money on the fact that if you were to charge that battery, or ideally buy a new battery, you would get some sign of life. Now that's not gospel. There can be a few other things at play here. You could have a bad ground. Maybe they've been messing with the electrics 2 years ago and then they lost interest and didn't want to have to redo it. There's lots of different scenarios here, but we're talking about best case scenario. So take a voltmeter. If it doesn't start on the button, no signs of life, check the battery voltage. The next thing you want to check is there fuel in the tank? And this sounds like such a simple and stupid thing to say or to recommend to you, but so many people don't realize that there's a few different things at play here. Number one, there's no fuel in the tank, and there hasn't been any fuel in the tank for say 2 years. That's really not a great scenario. Inside that tank, if there was any residue left over from the fuel that was in it before, over time it's going to have evaporated, but it can't get all of the gases and all of the fume out of the cap if the cap's been locked. And if it's been stored, there's nothing to say that it was stored in a completely dry place. So chances are the inside of the tank, and you'll have seen this 1,000 times, is rusty. If your tank is rusty, let's say the gentleman went out, chucked a bit of fuel in there to try and get it to start, he's going to have sucked any loose debris down into the fuel filter and then up to the carburetors. Now let's hope that fuel filter did an okay job, if it's got a fuel filter. If not, it's going straight to the carburetors and into the bowl of the carburetor. If it's rusty, don't put fuel in it and don't try and run it with that tank until you've treated it properly and got rid of any of the rust that's in there. The third thing that you're going to need to check, and I know I've mentioned this already, is the carburetor. There's a video here, you can click on this link and that will take you over to my Carbs 101 video showing you a very quick breakdown, teardown of a standard Mikuni carb showing you what you need to look for if your bike is not running. Let's say you've got good power and you've got good fuel supply, but for some reason it's just making the noise of turning over the engine. It's not actually it's not firing. Chances are you've got dirt and grime in this float bowl. If you take that float bowl off and you've got any signs of residue, whether it be like a powder, whether it be green and hard, or maybe the inside of this is also rusty, chances are the jets inside here, the little brass jets, again, don't be scared about these. Go and watch the 101 video and it will show you, walk you through it. It's very simple. You're gonna need to clean this. You're gonna need to clean the jets, take the jets out. Make sure that you can see through them. If you can't see through them, well then fuel can't get through them either. It's really straightforward stuff. The carburetor's job, in simple terms, is simply to combine the air from the airbox, the fuel from the tank, mix them together to a preset ratio before sending it into the cylinder where the spark plug will burn it. There's another thing to bear in mind. The fourth thing to look for, and you should just do this, all right? If you're going to look at a bike and you're pretty confident you're going to buy it, you should also buy a set of spark plugs that are suitable for that bike. There is no point in tearing your hair out for days on end trying to figure out why you can't get the bike to start. The carbs are clean, the electrics are good, the battery's charged, and there's a good amount of fuel that's high quality in the tank. The tank's not got debris in it, everything's good, but you just can't get it to fire. Change your spark plugs. So you want to change your spark plugs, you want to check the battery, you want to check the fuel and the tank, and you want to check your carburetors. You only need 3 things to get a bike to run: fuel, air, and spark. If you don't have one of those 3 things, your bike is not going to run. Now, I'm not saying that by doing these things that the bike will run smooth. I'm not saying that the bike's going to run like a dream. Chances are you're going to need to do some sort of tuning. You're going to need to make some adjustments. You might even need to replace cables such as the throttle cable. If when you get it running, you pull that throttle back and all of a sudden the revs go through the roof and it won't turn off, you got a bad throttle cable. Maybe it's not a bad throttle cable. Maybe you've got a rusty throttle arm on the carburetor. Everything is linked together, and if something is not working in one place, you're going to have a few different possibilities of how to get around it and how to fix it. I hope this was interesting for you guys. I know it's very different to what I usually do, but I felt like the channel needed something new. A good friend of mine had recommended the same thing. He said, you start doing some more sit-down videos. And I'm going to give it a go and throw a few of them out there for you. And if you guys have got any recommendations of products or topics or clothing or accessories, anything that you want me to talk about and review, maybe something I've mentioned in one of my other videos that I didn't go into completely, leave a comment in the section below with what you'd like to see in the next episode of this, and I'll do my best to make a list. A lot of you are also messaging me, and it's really humbling. A lot of you are messaging me on Facebook and on Instagram. The Instagram page has only been up for 2 days, and I think I've already had 35 different people sending me messages. Some of them just to say hey, some of them saying, I watch your channel, I'm really glad you've set up an Instagram account. Thank you so much for your help. And likewise, thank you for supporting me. This is awesome. I can't believe that we're only 3 months in and we're already building such a brilliant audience, and thank you for that. But I just wanted to say, if I don't get back to your comments or your messages straight away, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I run a small independent business, and right now in this current climate of 2020, spring 2020, I'm sure you can all appreciate just how mad things are and how uncertain everything is. So throughout the day, I have to be careful with my time. I have to make sure that my business it comes first. It puts food on the table for me and my missus and our dog. And so it's important that that comes first. But I haven't forgotten about you. I'm not ignoring you. If it takes me more than a day to get back to you, please don't get angry. I will get back to you. I read and look and reply to every message and comment I get. Anyway, guys, you take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Be vigilant. And, you know, stay inside for the time being. I'm getting a lot of people, you know, and I feel the same. We want to just go out on our bikes. The weather here in the UK, in the southwest of the UK, has got so good all of a sudden. But my bike's in pieces and I'm not allowed outside anyway. So Take care of yourself, guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, please do hit that subscribe button. You can go and check out the other playlists on the channel as well, the teardown video, and there's a couple moto vlogs up there. That is one thing I cannot wait to start doing more of, is the moto vlogs. I really enjoy the moto vlogs. Check those videos out. If you've got a VS 1400 and you're interested in that bike specifically, hit me up on Instagram. I'm under the name Intruder Viking. Go check out my page. It's only just been started, so please bear with the fact that there's only like 50 followers on there. But by all means, give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Send me a message, send me a comment, and let's have a conversation. I always try to do my best to respond to everybody. Thanks again, guys, and for your continued support. Really humbling. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. All the best.